Hello, this is Don Bartholomew with Managers. On this podcast, this is where managers tell their story on their journey to success and anyone trying to climb the corporate ladder. These stories are meant to inspire you. Welcome to Managers. We have Rick Herrera with us here today. Rick, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. My name is Rick Herrera, and I am located in the greater Southern California area, and I have been in this industry for about 28 years now. 8 of them, I want to say, a student of the trade, and 20 years in a managerial position. But I must say, out of the past 28, going on 29 years now, you're always a student and you're always learning.
Okay, Rick. So you are a transportation manager right now.
I am a director of warehousing and logistics, so I kind of deal with the transportation portion as well as the warehouse portion.
Okay, and how did you get into the logistics, the transportation, the warehousing? How did you get into that field?
I just fell into it, Don. To be quite honest with you, right out of high school, I started working for a med pharmaceutical company that did distribution.
Right.
So I started in the warehouse, and the position at the time was basically loading and unloading trucks. And from there, it just kind of moved. I got into a position where I worked my way up to pulling orders, and then from pulling orders, I became the order checker. And it wasn't just good enough for me, so I just kind of wanted to strive to do better because I really didn't have a career path in front of me.
Right.
And it just kind of fell into my lap, so to speak, and I kind of just ran with it. And as my career grew, I grew, and that's where I'm at now.
Okay. So Rick, what's going on with the transportation right now, though? How is the industry going right now?
The industry is so ever changing. Capacity changes. The warehousing space changes. I could say in the greater Los Angeles area, the vacancy is like 1%. So that means that a lot of warehouses are full with a lot of merchandise. I believe that the transportation side of it has cooled down a bit. Maybe a year ago at this time, it seemed like it was a little bit more active where carriers were hitting you with rate increases.
Right.
And I haven't seen it just yet, and I don't want to curse it, but it's kind of a strange time, I wouldn't say that we're in a recession whatsoever, but I think, the economy was so hot for so long, it might be cooling down a little bit.
Oh, so you think the rates not going to be that high no time soon?
Well, so from a shipper standpoint, I hope not. If I'm a trucker, then I would hope so. I think that the rates are going to be what they are throughout this peak season, and it's interesting to see with next year what's going to transpire, being that it's an election year.
Yeah, that is next year going to be a crazy year. So Rick, what do you have for people out there looking to get into logistics, transportation? How could you tell them from your point of view? How could you lead them in the right way? Like what do you think they should do that will help them?
Well, I would say that if this is the industry that you choose, be the best at it, whatever you're going to be. So if you're going to be a transportation manager, be the best transportation manager. If you're going to be a truck driver, then be the best truck driver. I would say never give up, and don't let anybody never crush your dreams, and just continue to strive. Be the best of what you do, educate yourself, take classes, and find a mentor, and just run with it.
Okay, so you think having a mentor is going to be a great thing, yeah?
Absolutely. I think everybody needs one, whether it's personal or business. You need to find someone that, you can look up to or perhaps even call on, because let's face it, we don't know everything. And it's about just tapping into the people that that have been successful in the business.
Right. So you think having a mentor going to make your life much easier?
I think it definitely would help, yes.
Okay. What about mentors? Do you have any mentors right now?
I do. I've had a few. I guess if you're asking me, who's been the most influential to me.
Right.
One thing I do is I listen to a lot of motivational type podcasts.
Right.
And I've had the opportunity to listen to great speakers. And, you know, I'm not going to go in any particular order, but, you know, let's just start with a gentleman by the name of Ed Milet. I've been listening to him now for going on a couple of years, and he just puts out, you know, a lot of great content, and he has powerful messages. So, you know, whether you're trying to be the entrepreneur or, you know, you want to be in the logistics industry, I think there's something for everybody there. And I think by listening to him, it just kind of, it's been good for me. So I definitely would consider him somewhat of a mentor. And I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of people that pretty much feel the same.
Okay.
You know, I also had the opportunity to be mentored by a gentleman by the name of Dave Tremblay. He was one of my instructors at Cal State Long Beach while I was going through a global logistics program.
Right.
And, you know, he was a great mentor. He was always there for me. You know, him like me, you know, we kind of like started at the bottom and worked our way up, you know, through, you know, small to mid to large size companies. So I think there was a common denominator there. Yet he just had more wealth of experience than I did. So I really looked up to him. And, you know, so him in particular, he received a distinguished award at Cal State Long Beach. And in order to get that award, it's because you're going above and beyond for your students. You know, and I was one of those students. And there was another award that he received for, I think they changed the name, and I can't tell you the name of it. It was called like the Favorite Student Award, let's just say. But they did give the homage to somebody else. But there's so many students out there that have shared the same feelings that I did. And that's what enabled that individual to receive those awards. So I guess that kind of ties back to the mentoring that we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
You know, so he would definitely be one. And if I were to look at currently my current situation, I would say is my current CEO. And let's just call him Al H. He's taught me a lot. You know, I kind of want to say what the millennials would say about extra. And this is no offense to millennials, but really, I came to the company that I am with experience, but Al H is more micro and I'm more macro, which is pretty much the opposite of me, right? Yeah, but with that said, he's taught and he's teaching me about the little details that people often overlook. You know, if I had to give you an example, let's just say I'm building a platform on the side of my building just so I can have an extra dock. You know, a contractor may fail to position it correctly so the water could drain into the warehouse. You know, how many people are really thinking about that, you know? And it's just the small details like that, you know, that I have gotten from him where I feel like when you almost think you know it all, you really don't. And sometimes you got to take a step back and listen to the wise man. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, what's the cause and effect? So, you know, let's just say you're setting up a warehouse and, you know, you're not sure how to, you know, place the aisles. So, you know, before you put the goods in there, you might want to chalk it out and do a simulation before you sign off on it. And your building's full of goods and, you know, you can't access it the way you properly want it to. So, you know, it's just little things like that. So I think it's just certain people in my life have had an effect on me, and you kind of just cherry pick, you know, what you want from those individuals.
Yes. Rick, how long now you with this company you with?
I've been with my current company going on about 4 years now.
Okay, that's good. And what else you have beside the mentors that help you along the way? Any more other resources?
In terms of mentors, I mean, there's been several through the years. And,
books, classes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when I chose this to be, you know, my path in life in the logistics industry,
right.
I decided to go back to school. And I took a global logistics specialist course at Cal State Long Beach. And even though I kind of had the warehousing portion dialed in, I want to say the industry in whole, I did not. So, you know, it goes from like freight forwarding to certain segments of transportation, which could be over the road, intermodal, LTL, customs brokerage. So this particular course that I took pretty much encompassed it in a whole, and it tied it all together. And the way that you to graduate, you work in a team setting and you do a capstone project, which I think would be kind of similar to a thesis, other than, you know, this is being done in a group setting. So for me, I learned a lot. You know, I was around lots of people that had similar interests, and we were able to teach each other. So I think that was tremendous for my career. And I know that there's different universities throughout the country that may offer similar programs. So, for example, I believe in Pennsylvania, there's I believe Penn State offers one, and they're big on that. And, you know, in Southern California, like I said, it's Cal State Long Beach, where you can get your master's in logistics.
Right.
Which I do not have, but, you know, the program that I took was kind of the gateway if that's where you want to go.
Okay, so Rick, what was your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
Well, I guess the biggest failure, I mean, there could be many ways to answer that. I would say one is taking things for granted and not seeing the big picture. You know, sometimes you got to step back and put yourself in, you know, other people's shoes, you know, when you assess situations. So I think what I've learned is to do that, to, you know, maybe think before I speak logically, and,
right.
you know, and just to take, you know, like I said, take that time to step back and pause for a moment before you talk.
All right, so you have one mouth and two ears.
That's correct.
Okay. And what is one thing you wish you had known before you started your career?
Oh wow. That's another tough one. I guess what I want to know is what's the longevity of it, you know? I think in this career it's forever changing. So if you wanted to be, let's just say, working at the port processing, you know, containers out. So I would want to know how long is that career going to last, you know, and that's not what I do, but, you know, with the industry changing in a whole, I think, you know, it's different from that of our parents where, you know, some people may have worked at the same place for, you know, 30 plus years. You know, I've been fortunate enough to work in the industry for that long, but for different people and in different places and doing different things. So I guess that would be one question I would ask.
Okay. And the next one is, what's the most important lesson you learn?
I guess is that you can't please everybody, you know, but you need to take the time to figure things out and to give people their voice for sure.
Okay. And like, what are you most proudest of?
What am I most proudest of? Okay. Well, I guess it's being to be able to develop others. You know, I had a guy who worked for me for several years, and when I joined the company, he was in the receiving department, basically as a lead, and this was in the consumer electronics space. I thought that he had a hard work ethic, desire, and hunger, and he wanted to advance in his career, and I kind of saw him in me, you know, kind of earlier on when I was starting my career.
Right.
So I gave him the opportunity, and he ran with it. You know, he always did what was asked for him and then some, you know. So eventually he was promoted to an assistant warehouse manager, leading a fairly large-sized crew. You know, upon me being promoted to a national warehouse manager, I eventually called on him to help me with the struggling DC. So I tasked him with traveling to Savannah, Georgia, where he'd never been on an airplane in his life. And, you know, he made it out there. He arrived. He got the DC ready for physical inventory. And, you know, we just did what we're supposed to do. We took care of business. And, you know, throughout the years, I was there for him. And, you know, but most importantly, he was there for himself. He wanted it. I just helped and guided him along the way. Later on, we reconnected at another consumer electronics company. And, you know, he helped me consolidate 2 warehouses into one bigger footprint. And I ultimately decided to leave the company and basically gave him the keys to take over. And after about 4 years now, he is still, you know, there doing his thing.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm extremely proud of him, and I'm grateful that I was able to be a mentor in his life.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
And so, within all the years, what do you think is your unique skill set that got you through?
You know, I don't think I have a superpower, but I guess I have the ability to assimilate, to be nimble, and to be approachable.
Oh, okay.
And you got to get the people part right. And if you can get the people part right, it makes things a whole lot easier.
All right. So he's an easy guy to deal with.
I've been told.
Okay. So right now with the logistics, the transportation, the warehouse, and what are you curious about right now?
You know, I think what I'm most curious is the industry in a whole. You know, the technology, with technology advancing, you know, there's automated picking and packing. How many logistic jobs will still be operated by humans? You know, because everything's getting streamlined. So, you know, you have these big box distributors, and I don't want to mention any names,
All right.
But with more automation, I could tell you even from, a decade ago, going into the parcel companies, they had these sort facilities where there wasn't a lot of human interaction. It was just more lasers and conveyors, and that continues to develop. And now, you look at the transportation industry, and there's autonomous trucks on the road, and that's starting to develop. So the population is not getting any smaller, and but yet the workforce is, in our industry. And if you even, you look at the ports where a lot of the clerks, they're not there no more. It's all automated, and there's people that are automating it out of different states, but it's much fewer people. So there's some curiosity there for me, for sure. And I'm very curious to see where it is 10 years from now.
And well, Rick, thank you very much. I know time is of the essence, so thank you very much for making the time, for being here. And I hope you'll be able to do this a little more soon, a little often. We could get some more information on the industry. It's going to be helpful.
Yeah, right.
All right, Rick. So I'll talk to you soon, and thanks again.
All right, Don. You have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too, Rick.
All right, bye.